All right, grab your aviators and tighten your hi-hat because we're about to talk about one of the most dysfunctional, brilliant, passive-aggressive, literally aggressive bands in rock history, the Police. Now, you may know the Police as the guys behind Roxanne, Message in a Bottle, and of course, that one song about romantic obsession that everyone weirdly plays at weddings, Every Breath You Take. You know, the stalker anthem of the 80s. But behind those tight grooves and immaculate hooks was a cold war in drumsticks and egos. A battle royale of Sting's iron-fisted control versus Stewart Copeland's caffeine-fueled chaos. And in the middle, poor Andy Summers quietly playing guitar and wondering if joining this band was some kind of karmic punishment for being 10 years older and British. Let's dive into the fight that broke the Police, because it wasn't a press release or a farewell tour that ended them. It was a punch, a stare down, and a recording session from hell. Sting, a former schoolteacher, was all about discipline. Meanwhile, Stewart Copeland was all about instinct. And when they hit the studio in 1983 to record Synchronicity, the album that would make them legends, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a guitar pick. By the time the band began recording what was to be their biggest album, Synchronicity, Sting and Copeland could barely be in the same room. Discussions regarding arrangements, track sequencing, instrument sounds, and lyric choice would quickly devolve into verbal attacks and even violent ones. Unafraid to get physical, there were times when Sting and Copeland were literally wrestling for control over the band. It all came to a head during the recording of Every Breath You Take, the album's first single. Copeland disliked the arrangement that Sting had come up with for the song, later telling Revolver in 2000. In my humble opinion, this is Sting's best song with the worst arrangement. I think Sting could have had any other group do this song, and it would have been better than our version, except for Andy's brilliant guitar part. Basically, there's an utter lack of groove. It's a totally wasted opportunity for our band. Even though we made gazillions off of it, and it's the biggest hit we ever had, the band limped through Synchronicity, rode the wave of success, and then by the mid-80s, done. A half-hearted attempt to re-record Don't Stand So Close to Me in 1986 turned into another disaster. A short reunion at the Conspiracy of Hope tour was more symbolic than sincere. And by then, the damage was baked in. The Police had officially broken up, not because the fans stopped caring, or because the music stopped working. They broke up because they couldn't stand to be in a room together without a helmet and a lawyer present.
We just finished a wonderful show at the Cincinnati Oratorium.
As far as you're concerned,
And as far as I'm concerned,
job.
so I'm looking for a job with Uriah Heep next week.
And Martha would like to.
Right, and Martha is going to
But
take
as
my
for
place
you,
in the band.
Summers, did you have your boxing gloves on in that gig?
I'll put my guitar on.
I'd like to advertise for a new band, please.
Yeah,
Hold
absolutely
on,
true.
hold on.
Anyhow.
We need to get a little bit of synchronicity here, if I may be so
Oh,
honest.
synchronicity has nothing to do with order. It's more to do with chaos.
It doesn't mean anything, Sting.
Is there any part of you that says never say never?
No, never say never, but here's what you can say. Andy, Sting, you're fired! As we come
I'm
on
not
stage.
fired. You're fired.
No.
Okay,
I fired you.
It's sort of hard to deal with that from my point of view.
Deal with what?
Expected
To deal with this?
To do with an interview.
We're like this all the time, you know.
This is
I
it.
mean, we'd be like
This is
this
what you get.
tomorrow. But at the moment, I want to have a fight.
Yeah.
Much better television
do?
than your questions. I promise you.
Okay.
I tell you what, should we film me whooping Sting?
Yes,
That would be good, wouldn't
that
it?
would be
Wouldn't
great.
I don't care.
Let's go!
That's that.
I'll do the
Okay, hit the chorus, let's get out of here.